This is a spinning Spinner Pro Plus indoor cycling bike, and in today's video I'm going to do a walkthrough and show you around this spinning bike. The first thing that really makes this bike different from all the other bikes I've reviewed is it is a chain driven bike. You can see the chain inside there. Also, this is not a magnetic resistance bike, it is actually a friction resistance bike. You can see the leather pad right down there. So I'm sure the spinning company makes a lot better and a lot higher end bikes than the bike that I'm gonna review here in this video here today, but these are simply the bikes that they have here at my local apartment gym. So I thought, hey, since it's here, I might as well take a look at it and see how it compares to some of the other bikes I've reviewed on my channel. So taking a look at this spinning bike here, one of the first things I'm noticing is the flywheel mass actually feels pretty substantial. And just a little bit ago, I got on this bike and gave it a little test ride, and it actually felt really good to get on it and ride it. However, while I was riding it, one of the very first things I noticed about it was actually just like a little bit of play in the drivetrain. And this really it might be hard to see in this video, but as I pull this pedal back and forth, there's a little bit of give to it before it actually engages the chain. If you take a look down here at the actual chain, you can see there is some give to it as I'm pushing and pulling on the pedal here. And really what this is showing me is the benefits of a belt-driven system. So basically what this is telling me is this needs to be tightened up. This whole flywheel needs to be moved up forward, or possibly the chain is maybe worn out and the chain needs some sort of maintenance. Maybe the chain needs to be replaced with a new chain. And actually I came over here to this other bike in the same studio here. I have the resistance all the way tightened up. And when I go to move this crank arm, you can see that there's definitely some play in it. So really what this goes to show is chain-driven bikes do need some sort of maintenance to keep them in good working order. Another observation here is these are SPD style pedals that come on this bike. So you have the SPD option on one side and your standard K style pedal on the other side. Another thing I noticed right away is when I raised the saddle height all the way up to the maximum height, it could easily accommodate my height. It was actually too high on the maximum height. So again, my height is 6'5", my inseam is 34. These are the adjustments you get on this spinning bike here. They are placed, it looks to be about 15 millimeters apart, maybe 20 millimeters. I don't know the exact specs. I'll put them in the description box below. In terms of the adjustability for moving the saddle forwards and backwards, you do have holes to click into. So the holes that you click into will limit precisely dialing in your saddle position on this bike, but it does give you the extra security that it's not gonna slide down on you. Taking a peek up here at the front of the handlebars, you have the same adjustability points with the same amount of distance between the adjustments. On this particular spinning bike, this is a 3-way adjustable bike. I don't know if they make 4-way adjustable bikes. I'm sure they do, but this one does not have the ability to move the handlebars forwards and backwards on the Spinner Pro Plus. Taking a look at the handlebars, you can see that they do have a slope down. From the side position here, you have a nice position 2 and nice position 3 grip. You also get dual water bottle holders right up here, and it looks like a nice little place if you wanted to put a phone mount right here or a tablet mount. As you can see here, if you're super tall, the saddle will come way up. Handlebars don't come up quite as high, so it will put you in an aggressive riding position if you're really tall. So this is way too high for me. So the saddle on maximum height, if I try to get on it, this is way high. I can't even reach the pedals. So up here riding this spinning bike, you can hear the noise that it makes. Definitely not nearly as quiet as a magnetic resistance bike and also a belt driven bike. There's a lot of noise going on. But the flywheel mass on this bike is actually really substantial, and it really just helps carry over the pedal strokes as you continue to pedal to even out your cadence as you get out of the saddle and just ride your spinning bike. I'm on 0 resistance now, and if I just let off and let the pedals go, you can see it carries a lot of momentum there. And if I try to resist it, it really just carries a lot of force through in that next pedal stroke. So overall, you know, the drivetrain feel on this bike is really good. It just needs a little bit of maintenance done to that chain, and this thing would be like really bomb. So if I begin to add on the resistance here, it is a leather resistance pad, very similar to the Sunny SFB 1002 I reviewed. This bike is actually like pretty reminiscent to the Sunny SFB 1002, but as you add on that resistance, you can really feel the whole mechanical nature of this bike really just kind of ramps up as you push down harder and harder on the pedals. And oh yeah, that's a really high max resistance. As you would expect, you know, it is a friction resistance bike. Also, another thing I'm noticing is a lot of the cheaper indoor exercise bikes I review that have a light flywheel and like a wool resistance pad, they get really choppy in their resistance towards the top end of the resistance range. This spinning bike is actually a lot different than those cheap bikes I review. It's a lot more similar to like the Sunny 1002 or other bikes that have a heavy flywheel, because that heavy flywheel, what it does is like really help to even out that resistance, especially at medium and high resistances. So cranking up the resistance here, this is probably about resistance of like 80 or 90 on the Peloton bike right now, which is very, very hard to do. But you can see that there is some good uniformity in the pedal strokes still. They don't get like really choppy on the high end of the spectrum. So riding the spinning bike actually feels pretty good to ride. It does have a very mechanical feel to it, as you would expect, being that it is a chain-driven bike, and also, you know, that chain is kind of worn out. It needs some sort of maintenance done on this bike, but it does have like a very mechanical feel to it. The flywheel mass on this spinning bike is pretty substantial, and it does have a lot of momentum as you get everything cranked up and turning over quickly. So, you know, it does have a good feeling drivetrain. Also, it does have friction resistance, and that leather pad is kind of worn out on this spinning bike. So, you know, it's not quite as smooth as like a magnetic resistance bike. However, it does feel surprisingly good to ride. Kind of one of the downsides on this particular bike is it does have that chain-driven system. So it does need a little bit of maintenance, and it does make some noise. And also like the leather resistance pad, over time will probably need to be replaced. Overall, I do think this is a pretty good bike, and you can definitely get a killer workout on one of these bikes. Anyway, I'm just here in my local gym about to get a quick workout in. Saw this bike here, thought I'd give it a quick review. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video or found any value in it. Leave a comment below with any questions or comments you have. Click subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video.